of our new UC Riverside track facility. A day many of us had hoped would come has finally arrived, thanks in no small part to the work of a few of the people behind me here today, as well as many of you in attendance. Let me begin by introducing a few of the people behind me. If you would, please stand and be recognized as I call your name. First of all, joining us today from the Big West Conference, the Commissioner of the Big West Conference, Dennis Farrell. We also have 5 of our track and field athletes: Camila Alvarez, Sean Ferreira, Ashley Gatewood, Seth Totten, and Chad Hall. As most of you are no doubt aware, there's quite a story behind the building of this facility, and we're going to let those most familiar with the tale tell the tale. Our first speaker took over the helm of the athletics department just 7 short months ago, following successful stints at UTEP, Michigan, Santa Clara, and Missouri, and he's already made his presence felt on our campus as well as in our community. Please join me in welcoming first in the starting blocks, UC Riverside's Director of Intercollegiate Athletics, Brian Wickstrom.
Thank you very much. I want to say that being a former track athlete, this is probably a little bit more special day than it is for a lot of people here. When I ran track in Kansas State, we ran on a cinder track in the fall and then went to an old track in the spring. This track's a lot better than any surface that we ever had in college, so that's great. First, I want to thank the Chancellor for his support of this project, because without his support, we would still have the same facility we had. And not many directors of athletics can come in and in their first 6 months on the job, get a new basketball practice facility and a new track facility. So I feel very fortunate to come into UC Riverside at this time. It's a special time to be here. And as part of one of my charges from the Chancellor to be the Director of Athletics on this campus is to move this program into legitimate Division I standing. We want to be competitive in the Big West Conference in everything we do. So that means in competition, that means in facilities, and in graduation rates. So this falls right into line with what we're trying to do. And it makes me very happy to see all of our student athletes in front of me and behind me that will get a benefit from this. And one of the comments I've heard is they don't get shin splints anymore. And I've had shin splints. I've used ice cups a lot, so this is all for you. So maybe I'll spend less days in the training room. And I want to talk about what this means to our campus and to our community. You know, from the day that this is finished, we've been getting emails in the department from people on campus that are faculty members, people that are staff on campus, excited because the track's open, because they've needed a good facility. I got an email 2 days ago from the coach of Brenda Martinez, and says he told me how she was doing in competition, and says that she's watching from afar about what's taking place on this campus, and it makes her even more proud to be from UC Riverside than she ever has been. So good things are happening, and I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to have all of you benefit from that. The one thing I would ask is that for today's practice, if I could just have Nate and Herb, if you guys could do the intervals and just always run into the wind, that would be great if you guys could do that for us today. But the last thing I want to say is this track is going to open up the gateway to our community. I know we have some representatives from the city here, from the county here. I met with the superintendents of the school districts in this community, and they've approached me about holding district track meets here, which would be great to bring student athletes that are in high school onto this campus. It's great when we can actually have our soccer team and our basketball teams get a lot of use out of this track and have a place to train for better conditioning. So hopefully you guys are here. But first of all, I just want to say thank you very much for this opportunity, this exciting day. Thanks again, Chancellor White, for your support of this project. And make sure you use the facility and invite everybody you can to come be a part of our program, because this is going to help us close the gap that exists between us and the city of Riverside. So thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Of course, there's nobody more aware of what a new facility means for our program, or for whom this story is more personal than our next speaker. He took over the cross-country and track and field programs back in August of 2003, and since that time, he's coached the likes of Brenda Martinez and Allison Wilder to All-America status, and guided the women's cross-country team to the 2008 Big West Conference Championship, for which he was honored as the Conference Coach of the Year. Director of Cross-Country and Track and Field, Riverside.
I really want to thank everybody for coming today and sharing this event with us. It's a special time and it's a special facility. I would like to also just introduce my coaching staff, who I couldn't do this without it. And if you could just stand real quickly, everybody can give me a cheer or applause. Nate Brown, Andy Dazzler, Rita Bush, Ken Simons, and Chuck Purdue. This is an NCAA national class track and field facility. So it means very much to the athletes in the stands and to the whole athletic department, as Brian was sharing with everybody, to have a facility that truly is. Dennis Farrell and I were just talking before, and he said this is ready to host a Big West Championship. So to have this kind of facility means a lot, especially after what we had kind of bared up under over the years past. This facility provides an opportunity for our campus and the community to join together. To share in this facility, it will provide the UC Riverside the opportunity to host Big West and the NCAA regionals and other major events, along with helping the community host events at this facility. Connecting to the community is really important as a mission of this university, and it's one of our missions for our athletic department. This was a 2-year project, believe it or not. 2.5 years ago, Chancellor White came up to me in an evening event and said, I think we want to redo the track, it's time. He had been out here and walked around and seen the condition of the track, and I think it was, without using too much of his words, he was embarrassed by the condition. And to make that happen over the 2 years, I really want to take a moment to thank some people that made this happen, because it was truly some awesome individuals, some great professionals that I worked with over the last 2 years to bring this facility to light. So I want to take a moment here to recognize these people, because they played a major part. From HMC Architects and Design was Brad Glassick, who was our architect who worked with me in a vision of this project, and I want to thank Brad for that very much. Thank you, Brad. Don Katsky, who was the head of construction design, and his experience of working on both sides of the project in the past, he came up with an idea called a design build, and it allowed us to do about 75% of the documents beforehand, and it allowed the winning construction company to take the rest of the plans and make it happen. And it's a much easier way to get through things, a lot quicker way to get through things and get them done. So I wanted to thank Don for his leadership and his vision. Thank you, Don. To help execute and build this design build with literally thousands of details, I was humbled by the day-to-day process of how much we had to look at every little detail. So if you can imagine, you start with a one-dimensional plan, and then you've got to put it on a three-dimensional surface. And there's a lot of things that you come up against in that process. And the guys that made that happen on the ground every day from UC Riverside is Rich Rico and Blythe Wilson. Thank you guys. You guys did a wonderful job. University of Riverside was very fortunate to have a special track construction company that was awarded this project. Byron Davies is a specialty builder in track and football facilities, but mostly tracks. And they gave us two great people. First of all, I hope Steve's here today, is to recognize Steve Davey, who's the CEO and owner of Byron Davey, who've been on this project and made all the numbers work out and brought it in at cost. And so I wanted to thank Steve Davey for his leadership in this thing. And then two really wonderful men I worked with on a day-to-day basis for about 9 months. And they were out here every day dealing with every situation and every problem that came up. And what was really great is their philosophy was to do it with excellence and to kind of be in front of the problem rather than behind the problem. And those two gentlemen is Vice President of Byram Davies, John Paris, and Supervisor of Construction, Dave Jensen. Thank you guys, really wonderful. And then also Jeff Burgess, who's sales representative for CalTrack, who is the Reckitan surface. And I have to tell you, I've been around a lot of track surfaces. I never had experience with Reckitan, but I'm really glad we have the product. It's a tremendous performing surface, and it's going to last a long time. And they just did a wonderful job in applying the surface onto the asphalt and making it all come together. Thank you, Jeff. I wanted to thank Brian Wickstrom and Kevin Price. They came in, and towards the end of the project, we were coming up against some really tough challenges. And I appreciate both of them getting in there and helping and getting this to the finish line. So thank you, Brian and Kevin. There was one other part-time coach I had. He only showed up a couple of times. His name was Pete. I don't know if you guys got to see him or not. But my assistant coach, Pete, better known as full-time job as Chancellor of the University of California, Riverside, Dr. Tim White. His understanding of how important this facility was to the people who were out here every day and how important it was to the university and the 350 student athletes that it serves for this athletic department, as well as providing opportunity for our faculty and staff and student body to be able to use the facility. I want to thank him for having the courage to see that this project through during very challenging financial times. He saw a need where a lot of other leaders before him kind of looked past that need. And to me, that says a lot about the man that we're going to introduce you in a minute. For myself and my coaching staff, this facility will allow us to teach, coach, and mentor the University of California student athletes. And basically, that's what we are. We're teachers. Our classroom is this facility instead of being in a lab or in a lecture hall. Chancellor White, thank you for your vision, your courage, and leadership here for UC Riverside, not only for this track, but for all the impact that you're making here. This is truly an NCAA Division I facility that we all can take pride in. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach. Although he was only employed by the athletics department for a single day, he is arguably the most important employee in the department's history. Please welcome Assistant Track and Field Coach Pete Weston, who in his spare time doubles as the Chancellor of the University of California, Riverside, under the pseudonym Timothy P. White.
Well, thank you, everybody. This is a great day. I don't know if I'm more excited about what's here now or what isn't here anymore. When you stood around here before, you had these ugly bleachers that were unsafe for humans to sit on or to walk in. You couldn't see the rec center, you couldn't see the box mountains. And so many people have asked me in different ways over time, why? We're trying to build a medical school, we've got needs for more chemistry classes, and all of that stuff's true. And there's one reason why we're here today, and it is the men and women who are wearing blue and gold. It's for you guys. That's all I can say. If our students commit to be a student at the University of California, they deserve in their chemistry laboratory to have a temporary first-rate facility where they can learn chemistry in a safe and nurturing and enabling fashion. And exactly the same thing needs to be said about the track facility, about basketball, about all of our sports facilities, our theaters, our music halls, and our lecture halls. Is there something special and enduring about the greatness of the University of California? And it is to create facilities that allow each who are blessed to be here, whether they're staff or faculty or students, to have the best to then learn and grow and perform at their highest levels, academically, in the case of track and field, with running and throwing and events of that nature. And so it's really a student-centered philosophy that brings us to today, and one that I'm proud of to be, and makes my decision actually making easier as Chancellor when I say, of all the things we could be doing, how do we make life better for our students? How do we make life better for our faculty and staff? And how do we bring a greater impact to California and this nation in terms of the human capital that we develop? And sports for me is a lot of fun. It's competition. There's all that energy around it. But to me, it's much more than that. It's about developing leaders for tomorrow. It's about having a goal, about focusing on a goal, about working towards that goal, of not taking no for an answer, not letting something get in the way, and if it does, you heal from that, or you get around it and come back and try again. As I think about where we are as an American society, the idea of setting goals and working hard and focused on them is really a key attribute, and there aren't many things left to teach us that in athletics and sports, dance, music, theater. Those are the types of things that have people come together and work. And even when it's an individual sport, there's also a team piece to it. And the idea of being part of something larger than self and giving to others is a big part of this. So I see this in so many different ways, but on top of all that, it's a damn good track, and I'm proud of us.
Thank you, Chancellor White. That's our official program for today, but if you guys have cameras on you, we do have a special photo opportunity coming up. I'd like to ask that Chancellor White, Coach Ray, Scotty Highlander, and AD Wickstrom, you all would head towards the small cone right there. We have a special tape that members of the UC Riverside Spirit Squad are going to hold today. We'd like to thank them for joining us. And once everybody gets set, we'll fire the starting gun. I'm told the Chancellor actually wanted to run all the hurdles coming down the straightaway here, but we couldn't get liability waivers signed in time, so we settled for this 10-meter run. Yes, limber up. We don't need to pull anything. Now, Chancellor, Coach, you guys are the figurative and literal leaders of this group, so you all need to decide what kind of pace you want to run at. If you want to sprint, that's up to you. If you want more of a Chariots of Fire, kind of a slow motion thing, you can do that. In fact, Aaron Thompson is our bagpiper here today. Aaron, if you guys can give Aaron a round of applause. Aaron, do you know Chariots of Fire? Perfect. All right, runners to your marks. False start. Typical. Runners to your marks. Get set. All right, that was a pretty good job. If we could get the tape put back together, we do have one more photo we'd like to take. If I could get the entire track and field team as well as the coaching staff down here. All you guys in yellow, guys and girls in yellow shirts, head on down here along with the coaches. We're going to put the tape back together for a photo opportunity with the Chancellor, the coaching staff. Also, a quick reminder, this facility is open for business beginning Saturday, March 10th. That's the first intercollegiate race we have had here in since 2005. So mark your calendars, March 10th, UC Santa Barbara. The Gauchos are going to be here for a dual meet. That starts at noon. March 10th is Saturday at noon, UC Santa Barbara for a dual meet.
You guys, come on and get them.
Also, as soon as we're done with this photo opportunity, the rest of you feel free to come down to the track. All of our coaches and athletes will be available to give you tours of the facility, show you around, explain to you how the process took place.
Okay, the tallest people in back. There you go, yeah. Okay, coaches.
Assistant coaches, don't be shy. Get on in there. Scotty, if you want to come around back to this corner.
Count till you're ready. 1, 2, and 3. And one more time. 1, 2, and 3.
Positions, hold positions.
Oh, you want to do it so like, ready? All right. Track is a big, correct.
Count 3, 1, 2, 3, go Highlanders, all right? Okay, 1, 2, 3.